Welcome, everybody, to That's Good Stuff, our show where we take deep dives into pop culture's newest releases. This time, we watched Gran Turismo, based on a true story. Literally called that in some markets.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, it's like, that market is too stupid to know that.
Is it like
True.
like Precious based on the novel Push by Sapphire? That's the entire
title.
title.
It's Gran Turismo based on true story, you boomers.
Sim racers are legitimate.
So the director is Neil Blomkamp.
Some examples of his work?
District 9.
Oh, really?
Chappie.
Chappie.
See, I thought his movie from that Creator movie.
Yeah.
I thought that was him.
Yeah.
Me too. Yeah.
I didn't realize that this was District 9, man.
Yeah. He
His
had,
name's
some, he had some horror movie called Demonic. Do you know that one?
I haven't seen it.
No? Okay. The cast includes David Harbour, Stranger Things fame, Orlando Bloom, Pirates fame.
That's where you go for
I was trying to think of his most obscure movie. But
What are you
most
thinking of?
Lord of the Rings.
Oh, yeah.
Most obscure Orlando Bloom film.
Huh.
He probably has
Is
a
Kingdom
lot
of
of those.
Heaven that obscure reference?
no, I think that's well known.
Okay.
Thomas?
He did that weird series about sex on Netflix.
But that's a series.
We're talking movies right now.
Moving on.
He's pretty well known.
How do you say his name, Jonah?
Archie Madekwe?
Archie Madekwe.
That's what you got out of that?
Yep.
Yeah.
All I see is
And the guy from Marvel,
Jamon Hansu?
Jamon Hansu.
Marvel.
Yeah,
seriously, Joe.
he plays
In Guardians with like the head thing.
He's in
the
Gladiator.
very beginning.
Oh,
Yeah.
I like that guy a lot.
Very, very handsome man.
I always forget he's in Guardians. Like that's what Johnny said after he was like, "Oh, I didn't expect him from Guardians." It's like, "Oh, my touchstone is Gladiator for him."
All right, so Gran Turismo, based on the true story of a young man who loves Gran Turismo, the game.
Which ones have you guys played real fast?
2.
Hot Pursuit.
2.
1, 2, 7.
What?
Where's not Hot Pursuit?
That's Need for
That's
Speed.
That's Need for Speed. I've never played Turismo.
Oh,
I think I played 5.
5.
2.
Racing games are not my forte, except for that one, Need for Speed, because you got to play cops.
Burnout.
that was fun.
Did you ever play
Burnout was fun.
Burnout.
Soundtrack was really good for
That
that
needs
too.
to be a movie.
Burnout
Burnout.
Paradise.
This is some guy in the car smoking. Like,
It's just that GNR song the whole time.
Yeah, Paradise
It's the whole
City.
movie. Anyway, so this guy, he loves Gran Turismo. His parents, or his dad's not so keen on it. He's like, get a job.
You're going to end up in the railways.
Yeah.
I thought the joke was going to be like, why don't you play FIFA or something? Like, God.
Yeah,
Because he's
play
like,
a real sport.
He's all about like football. I'm just like,
Yeah, because him playing FIFA.
His dad was a soccer player
Yeah.
for the city of Cardiff in Wales.
When did this take place?
It looked like
Well, he
pretty
was-
recently. He was
yeah,
on
I know.
PS5.
Oh, he was 2014, 15, I think.
Well, he was on a PS5.
Mm.
So
Yeah, and it was like the new game,
Yeah.
Gran Turismo 25, I think it's called.
Is that on the new PS5?
yeah, it was on the
The
PS5.
controller was PS5.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was, huh? I didn't even put that together. Yeah,
Maybe they didn't.
it had to
do
be
that.
7 then.
I don't know because I have no idea. It didn't really give you a timeline when this was.
No.
because
Yeah.
you couldn't say it was
Look
like during COVID either because no one
No.
was wearing masks or anything.
But I thought it was Gran Turismo 5 that he was playing, right?
No, it's
No, it
not.
was like 7.
It was 7?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So it has to be PS5, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, this young
They
man,
just updated the time.
maybe
Makes sense.
just for marketing reasons,
Yeah.
they're like, we don't
Oh,
want
man.
We don't want to show a PS3.
This was also a very Sony movie.
Yeah,
There's
like-
Sony's everywhere.
Like
Sony's.
everywhere.
I have a phone, Sony.
They never said PlayStation.
Any chance to market their like their Walkman?
Yeah.
They'll do
they
it.
love that stuff.
Well, so I have a story about that, but I liked how every time that we got like an in-movie like update or something, it would be the PlayStation sound.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that was interesting.
They should like sync Sony phones to movies when I'm like watching them at the theater, and it does weird stuff.
You can get kicked out of Alamo.
No Sony phones. Okay, so where were we? This young man, he's good at games. Orlando Bloom comes, and he's very squinty face in this movie.
Yeah.
He's always like
He's an angry marketing man.
Yeah,
You
so
can't say Nissan.
he has.
That's how Europeans
Nissan-
say it though.
I know.
But he said it right the first time.
He did. In
And
the
then the rest of it was
Nissan.
Nissan. I was like, what?
Yeah, he says Nissan and then Nissan.
I don't care how the Europeans do it. We say
I totally agree with you.
So he has the bright idea of putting gamers into cars and having them race.
yeah, bright.
So our main character, he gets into that contest and he qualifies. So then he has to go to the training camp they have.
There's no. Well, I guess his friend was watching it, but there's no way. Like, you know how his rig at the the internet cafe said, "Oh, you're the." There's no way someone didn't just come over and be like,
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I'm getting on this.
He's like, it was yours logged in. I'm like, who leaves theirs logged in at an internet cafe?
So he's got to train in this training camp and beat the other gamers, and he does. He barely by like an inch.
"Yeah,
Very close.
photo finish."
Also, who does? Okay, so we're coming to that part. You know how they're like, oh, rewind it, and it's like all blurry. I'm like, who doesn't have a high-speed camera?
And like they can't like move the time bar.
Yeah,
it's like
it's like,
frame by
go,
frame.
go.
Pause, no,
Yeah.
pause.
Yeah, it's like not high speed at all.
Yeah.
I'm just like, who doesn't have a high speed? That's where they cheap out, is the high speed camera for the finish line.
Yep.
For a race.
I know that
race.
whole thing is like fancy
Yeah.
and they got rigs.
Might as well do it on VHS. I'm like, that's how much it was moving.
I was also surprised by Orlando Bloom. Like, this guy can't talk on cameras.
Uh-huh.
He's bad with press.
Not pleasing. Let's stick with.
But he won.
Let's stick with the guy who's a foot shorter than the other guy.
Was it only a foot?
It was a lot. I didn't realize that until I
That dude was
stepped out of the
huge,
car. I was like,
yeah.
oh my god.
6'4".
Holy
Really,
crap.
yeah, it's huge.
So he wins this qualifying training camp and he's got to go to the minor circuit, race in the European leagues to get his license. Like in Gran Turismo, you have to get your license.
You do?
So,
Mhm.
yeah.
You go through like A, then you get your S finally.
I might have to pick up a
You
copy.
gotta level up.
I say I don't really play racing games at all.
That's honestly my favorite part of Gran Turismo is getting your license.
Yeah. Yeah, because I like those slow cars. Like they have the really slow European cars. Or like,
Yeah.
meep, meep.
You can change gears and stuff in it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can do that.
Stupid.
Okay, so he's on the minor circuit. He's kind of struggling because he's not a professional racer and he's up against professional racers.
I'm sorry, real fast. Changing gears in this is so different from like Fast and the Furious.
Yeah.
They try to dramatize it the same way too. They're like, instead of like,
I didn't watch Fast and the Furious, but my brother was talking because he had a standard for a long time. He's like, I don't know what they're like shifting to, but they ran out of gears like 4 gears ago.
yeah.
Have you ever seen the memes of like the gears for Fast
Yeah.
and Furious?
Family, ultra family, familia.
Okay, so he's on the minor circuit. He struggles a little, but then he finally does get his license, and they're like cheering. So it's time to go to the big leagues, and he does, but he has a setback. We'll say we'll get to spoilers soon. He has a setback, so he's got to overcome that emotional thing that happened, and then we get the end at Le Mans. And
Was that a true story too?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
yeah,
big.
that actually happened. So we get 24 hours at Le Mans, and
I would do that race, but
Yeah.
like, dude,
I would be
Like-
fine except for
the night rain.
the night rain. That was
was
terrifying.
rough, yeah.
And I like he's like, yeah, I got this. I'm like, no, no.
so basically, the professional racers have started a petition in
Oh, yeah.
legal fight to say that sim racers, which
Should
is
stay in the sin.
yeah, they shouldn't be allowed to race. So they got a podium at Le Mans, and that's basically the end. Is that fight the podium? So if you remember Ford versus Ferrari, it's kind of like that. So Gran Turismo, that's the summary. Now we can get into the details. So
The deets.
where do we want to start with this? Let's give our overall thoughts of the movie first, and then we'll dive deeper. So let's start this way.
Sure.
Michael,
Oh.
what did you think?
Such a interesting transition for the movie because it starts and it's like a car. You're in gear 1 and you're like, this isn't so great. You're like, this is kind of cheesy. It's real lame. And then
Dialogue's not great.
Dialogue's not great, but then it just like changes. It's like, whoa, okay, that was a pickup. That was interesting. That was cool. And then you get like more of the complex emotions with. I think David Harbour nailed it.
Yeah.
David Harbour did incredible in this movie. He did so good. And so they built up that, and then
especially the gift.
he's
He's like,
I'll get into mine.
But yeah, it's just like it literally like the analogy to the car is just like it just kept going through gears until like literally at the end of the movie. I was like, this movie's great. Like, by the end, like it had that. It does a really okay. So compared to the beginning to the end, race wise, they laid so much heavy in like tropes of like, okay, we're gonna have like the overlay and the HUD and all this stuff, and then they kind of just drew it all back until it's just like the position number that he would have.
Yeah.
But they did such a good job keeping the tension during the races. I feel like they could have had a little bit more overhead rather because there was a lot of cuts like all the time. There wasn't really a long like getting to see them going, but like I was impressed with how well they kept the tension of actually racing going. I was like, man, I'm like on the edge of my seat at this point. But yeah, and then it hit that point where we talked about the racetrack where he has that first crash, the big one, and like didn't expect that in the slides. I didn't really know where this movie was going. I didn't know anything about the story except for the fact, the racer got there and da. And like when his car lifted off, I was like, oh my God. Like it was like literally this shit.
Yeah.
I was like, oh crap, where are we going with this? And then like you learn more about, the effects of the crowd and everything. And then like
the people next to us, did you hear them when we were at the movies? He's like, oh, shit.
I mean, literally, like that's how you feel because they did such a good job with like the visualization of the crash and everything, and like it's also kind of like if that's named, like airborne death trap, whatever the heck they call it.
Yeah.
Why do you have audience people over there? Like, make that just woods. Like, if the driver dies, whatever, he got in the cockpit there, the driver's seat, but cockpit.
He got in the Gundam.
He got in the Gundam, but no, like, and then
You got in that Eva.
that brought such a weight and tied in really well with David Harbour's history and everything. And then at that point of him like going back, like, hey, they're gonna finish your lap. I was like, oh, that's so good. That was I don't know if that part was true or not, but I loved that kind of like tie-in of him like, hey, you got to push past this and you have to finish where you left off. I thought that was so good. And then like literally going to the end, that kind of like satisfying because it's it is a sports movie, but it's not traditional like at all until you hit that end point where like, all right, now we have the bad guys. We're back to we got to beat the golden Lamborghini or whatever, but it's just very satisfying in that sense. And,
I like in the beginning before like all all the crashes and stuff like that, and he starts the race and one car like catches fire. Like, they blow up.
Oh yeah, it happens all the time.
like that.
But then after you see like the crash and then that one guy burning, you're like,
it only goes up
serious.
so fast. but yeah, so like literally just the movie was okay in the beginning. It just got better and better until it hit the end.
Yeah.
I was like, that movie was great. Like they made up for all the cheesy Hunger Games action in the beginning where it was like a bunch of teens getting ready for fighting, whatever. That's what it felt like. It felt like a Hunger Games movie. But it got to the end, like just kind of focused on the characters, and I love the dynamic of Orlando Bloom's kind of like just business-minded character versus David Harbour trying to redeem himself through the racer, and then like the other guy just trying to prove himself that I don't know. It was real well balanced. I liked it. Liked it a lot.
Cool.
Good.
Thomas?
I did enjoy this movie. I don't think it's amazing. The acting's pretty good, especially from David Harbour and
The dad.
Not that big.
Which one? Archie?
no,
Jamon?
Yeah. Jamon Hansu, the dad. Especially,
He's always great though.
I mean, yeah, but like the two parts that got me like a little like damp in the eyes was
I did it for you.
yeah, that part. Like that was actually pretty like because like when he points to the bird for his dad's like soccer
It
team.
reminded me
I
of
was
like,
just like-
we still love you.
I know. But that one, and then even like the kid actor, like when he finds out that he killed a guy,
Yeah.
like that was like a 180 of like tone because everybody's like, oh, joke,
Fun,
fun. You killed a guy, so
Oh.
And yes, I agree. Like, I'm sorry, but if you're that close to the freaking like supercar stand,
Yeah.
buyer beware. Like, and they're right next to like the air, like you call it the airfield.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, don't sit there, man. Come on.
Not a good idea.
I thought it was all right though. I did like the the driving part of it. I thought they did pretty well with like how it looked. It didn't look like a PS2 crappy graphic. It looked really well, or really good. I even liked when the car deconstructed, especially at the beginning part when he's trying to build the car itself, and it shows that he actually understands how the physics of the car actually work.
I'm so glad they showed restraint with that.
Yes,
'Cause that is something they easily could have done every race with every car.
Yeah.
Well, even with like the drive line, what does he call it? The race line.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
I did like that they incorporated that, but they also showed that that's not the best way to do it. Sometimes is that you can actually beat the computer, so it's kind of cool.
I know when I'm playing, I only use that drive line when I'm at first.
When I first. And then it's all chips on the board.
But I mean, it was all right. I did like David Harbour's like the part where he wins, or not wins, but he places at Le Mans,
Yeah.
and he's just like, "Holy crap! Holy crap! Holy crap!"
Yeah.
But it was good. I always like kind of like laugh a little bit though. I know it is a serious sport. I'm doing quotations. But when he comes like, these are athletes. These are super athletes. I'm like,
That's
are they? Because I'm like, it's like you're taking some nerds and they're like, yeah, even the nerds can do it. It's like, yeah, I mean, come on. It's
How is there no chunky winners?
that's what I was gonna ask. Like all these gamers that they like picked were like
They're all real fit.
Yeah.
somewhat like in like
It looked like a Power Rangers cast
Yeah,
or something.
exactly. I was like, there has to be like some like guy from like Minnesota that weighs like 300 pounds. I'm like, come on, man, or me, like, come on. But I mean, it was all right. But even like that whole like, oh, we don't want sim racers in here. I'm like, you know, they hire people who like do drones for like the Air Force. Like the concept is proven. But
Well, it's back then a little bit.
right.
Yeah.
But I'm just like, you know what? I don't think that could always work though. It's like, you know what? We got the best Counter-Strike operator in the world. Let's put him in the tier 1 operators.
These guys are great at COD.
He's just
The reaction time.
here.
You can't teach that. I'm just like, oh no. But I don't know.
He's got instinct.
It's like Chad from California who weighs 400 pounds, lives in his mom's basement. She's going to show the Marines how it's
Just seen
done.
him on the battlefield.
Well, I just see like him try to slide.
Slide cam.
It's that dude at the gym video where he's like on his knees.
Yeah.
The slide cam.
But I mean, it was a decent movie though. I'm not going to rag on it too much because I did enjoy it. But I mean, it was all right. It wasn't my favorite, but I don't know. It was all right. Also, since Hopper, I don't know, that's the one complaint I did have about these characters. I didn't know anybody's name for like the longest time. I didn't know the main character was named Jan until they put his name on the screen.
So I swear he calls himself Jan in one part.
Yeah, Jan.
You did the thing.
So I have a Sony Walkman. So,
Yeah.
but
My dad has that one.
it's a nice one. But oh yeah, so his name's Jan.
Mm-hmm.
I'm assuming his dad's like South African. Yes. That's,
I guess.
I don't know. Anyway, that's fine.
Okay. So for me, my review is pretty much like Michael's. I wasn't sold in the first part. I don't like the training. The training portion because it just seems like a commercial. Like I'm watching a Sony PlayStation commercial.
Also, the cuts were weird in the
Yeah, it's
Like-
very choppy.
like that. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like a commercial, like for Sony PlayStation.
It felt weird and off from the rest of the movie for sure.
Yeah, and
I honestly thought the movie was just going to be the training camp. I didn't know he was
Yeah,
going
That'd
to
be
go on.
sad.
but once he got into the minor leagues, I mean that it really picked up. I like how they get into his head a lot. He has to deal with confidence and stuff. I like his pit crew where there's like not on the joystick now, right?
Jeez, I forgot about that. There was a Top Gun reference
Which one?
at the pit crew. Is like, I'll pit for you anytime.
Oh yeah. So I really liked how they portrayed his struggle to get acceptance. And then, like you guys said, David Harbour just knocks it out of the park in this one. And like the emotional scenes were really good. I thought the dad kind of goes away a lot in the middle of the movie. Like you would think they were on the phone. He'd be on the phone and like, "Oh, I'm proud of you."
You're talking to that bum.
But they really don't show his family for a long time until he gets into the accident, and then they're like, and then they go through that
I
stuff.
think that's more just to get you into his head that he doesn't see him for a long time.
Yeah.
That's something I forgot to mention is that when his dad's like, "You'll end up here with me," I'm just like, at a railroad job? That's pretty nice. Like at least in America it is anyway.
That one scene I gotta bring up when you talk about the accident, like everyone great acting. The poor mom though.
Yeah.
Like that whole scene where it's like her and him. No, before the accident scene, it's like she's waiting to be photographed for like a print of like what are those called? The false pictures and frames that you're gonna buy.
Those.
Stock photos.
Stock photos.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's what she said the whole time. She's just. And then it's like, oh, there's just screams out of nowhere. I was like,
My baby boy.
She did not stop smiling the entire time until that accident. Like, the whole movie is just glued on her face. I was like,
Like during the
you can't be that happy.
the tense dinner when they're
These lentils are amazing.
No one thinks lentils are amazing.
But yeah, I had to bring up the constant smiling was making me laugh.
So this movie gets compared a lot to Ford versus Ferrari just because it's a racing movie. I don't think it's good as Ford versus Ferrari. That movie is good throughout the whole movie. But this really won me over. I think it will be in my top 10 at the end of the year. So, Jonah, you want to go next?
Yeah, again, this is really surprising for me because the trailers didn't do anything.
No.
And Neil Blomkamp, I always feel bad for because unlike most people, I really did not like District 9. And I've heard his wrestlers movies are like terrible. Kind of.
Elysium is like, oh my
I fell
god.
asleep during Elysium.
I don't blame you.
I never went back for it.
Jonah's calling you out, Neil.
No, through all of his movies, he's not a bad director, but his scripts are terrible.
Yeah.
But this one, I finally like one of his movies. But again, it starts out really generic. The dialogue in the first half is awful. But then somewhere, the training wasn't very good. It was very slow. But after that, it just goes all the way up and just keeps going up till the end. And I'm glad I saw this in the theaters because I really like the cinematography in this, especially in the rain. It looked incredible.
The rain was good.
It looked really good.
This movie didn't have to worry about gamer like
Dialogue.
movement.
Yeah.
Like you know when you see like people playing games on like TV shows.
Oh yeah, there was like because they actually have this turn mode. Doesn't matter.
But yeah, the acting was great. David Harbour, Jamon Hansu, and the main guy. Orlando Bloom's like plays the character fine, but he's Orlando Bloom.
Nothing really to stand out for that character anyway.
So he's like,
It's just kind of a corporate.
Yeah. But I love like biopics and sports movies, so this is like an easy like for me. And
What was that?
that's how Orlando.
yeah, he does. And yet, how it takes the normal structure of a like sports movie with the kind of accident in the middle. Because I thought that was gonna do like a Creed 2 thing where he's like injured.
For a long time.
All
we
is
have to, like,
lost moment.
We had to test the train back, but then they're like, no, you killed someone. And I'm like, oh, dang.
Yeah, did not expect that at all.
And that was done really well. That whole like rise back up.
Yeah, I thought he was gonna shatter his bones and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Kill somebody.
He's kind of fine.
Yeah.
And
Dude, I thought that German guy was dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Straight up.
Which one?
the guy on fire.
Burning one?
Well, just like, is he a dead?
I expected him to come out because he kind of got on. He's in like just like a tight suit, just like an old 80s guy. I thought he was gonna be like,
He's just like windmilling.
Was he pulls off his like his helmet? He's got like a mullet.
But
That would be regular show if they
Yeah.
I forgot to mention like when Le Mans in France.
Yes.
So the French special forces like
Oh,
descend in a
yeah.
helicopter.
that was intense. I know. What's happening?
I would not do well at Le Mans. I'm like, France, watch out! The Germans are over there. But
That was
Just point at the German driver.
they're here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brothers. All three.
The ending, yeah, I loved. It was so like intense and it shot so well that I just loved this movie by the end of it. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm interested on what like the actual accuracy to that end race is, because like that one guy cramping up, which just comes into the athletic Thomas, because he's like, which is actually like that's intense for 3 hours. You
Yeah.
like actually like the G's that he's talking about double
In the rain.
going into space.
Well, they said it's like up to 14 hours
That's
that they can drive.
That's crazy, but like I don't know how accurate that was to have to go out an hour early and go
Oh.
finish it.
Oh,
But
yeah.
I feel like
Sorry, I've seen
they paced
streamers
it really well though.
I've seen streamers go for 30 hours and all on Red Bull and nothing else.
I like that you brought up the trailers because the trailers were awful.
Yeah.
It's like they took all the training scenes and just put in the trailer.
Yeah, because we didn't know there's anything after the training scenes.
I thought you were talking about the trailers before the movie. I was like,
Oh,
Hold up here. You said that you didn't like any of the trailers, right?
yeah, for this movie.
Did you
they
hope?
didn't do anything for that.
Did you hope that we would have a bad time and get views?
No.
It didn't look terrible.
I heard good stuff.
Yeah.
The reviews were good for
Okay.
it before.
I'm on to you, Joe.
I was hoping it was
It is
a
a
Need for
video game
Speed. But... All right, Jared.
I liked it. It's not. I don't feel like it's like great or anything like that, like Ford versus Ferrari. But I enjoyed it. I'm glad I watched it in the theater. I probably wouldn't have liked it as much as just like sitting on the couch watching it, but it was very intense in the theater. Who knew Kappa was such a villain?
A douche.
The car part certification people just
Lamborghini, man, they're just trash.
What if OSHA had a sponsored car? Do you think he would like get like bullied?
He'd pull everyone over. Like, going too fast. Yeah, like we've been saying, I wasn't expecting the crash. Like I was expecting him to like get hurt, but not like someone die. It's cool seeing like, or it's cool like this actually happened. Like it was a true story. I never heard of anything like this before.
Yeah, I didn't hear anything about this.
Yeah.
I knew there was a competition to get in the race, but I didn't know like that they actually succeeded and did stuff.
You tried, didn't you?
I didn't have the game then. No.
I kind of want like a rig to.
Dude,
play
I've
Gran
had one in
Turismo.
my Amazon wish list for a long time because I got Gran Turismo 7 in June, I think. I was like, because I got the PSVR 2, and I was like, oh man, with the rig that'd be so fun. But it's expensive.
But
Watch out, Jan. He's coming for you.
yeah, I liked it. If there's ever another training camp, I could do Le Mans by myself.
By yourself.
Just like coffee cup, just like.
Bag M&M's.
You're not in competition. You're just on the track for no reason.
But good lord, like I'd be bored. Like,
Yeah.
can you like put some music on the comm? Because
Dude, the Kenny G. I forgot about
Oh, yeah.
the Kenny G.
Talk about the music.
What was it? Enya?
Enya.
So good. I love how that was true too. Like
Yeah.
both things, like
I did like when he was playing Enya, they're all like, or Kenny G, they're like, what is that? What the hell are you listening to?
who gets woken up by Kenny G though? Like
who has Kenny G that loud in their earbuds?
You go into deeper sleep when that happens.
I know.
It's a trance.
You go. Oh, that's nice. But yeah,
That would probably relax me more than Enya.
I enjoyed it. It was a good movie.
Cool.
There was a little too much like gamer speak. Like
Yeah.
There was some of that.
Yeah.
What was it like? Oh, hello, noob. I'm like,
Oh, yeah.
if someone like actually came up to me and did that in real life, I'd be like, shut up.
Yeah, the bad guy wasn't very interesting or intimidating or
Was
well.
he?
So the bad guy,
Was he all chisel? Like,
he
From what I could see, Thomas. Yes.
yeah.
he was like the perfect stereotype of that
Yeah.
European douchebag.
Yeah.
I mean, he just looked the part. It was just like,
He looked like his car.
yeah, he
He
did.
even had the Germans as the allies.
Yeah.
This is just an 80s movie.
So, as a gamer who's played, so I played mostly Forza. I played Gran Turismo 2, which I really liked. But then I switched to Xbox. So, it was really cool, like seeing the tracks, like they use real tracks. So I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, I love the Nürburgring. That's like my favorite track. And then Le Mans is always great. What else was I going to say? The cars, GTRs. I love seeing the
those are pretty cool.
GTRs. I'm so sick of racing movies where they only race Mustangs and Chargers. I want like real machines, and it was cool to see GTRs in there.
What was his last? What were their last cars? Because that thing looked terrifying.
I think it was awesome.
Those are like real touring cars.
Like-
They're like hyper cars.
Like he's like, oh, it's faster and takes speeds corners. Or it takes the corners faster. You'll be fine.
Dude, that one, like, it was an overhead shot where he's taking a right turn. He goes around someone.
Yeah.
And you just see how the car turned. I was like, oh my gosh.
Dude,
Yeah.
that would
Awesome
suck though.
looking.
Like after his crash, you get a lighter car. Like
I know,
and you go
yeah.
faster.
Well, and I remember that one stretch of track that they had from Ford versus Ferrari.
Yeah.
It's like, is it a
Oh, the Michelin.
That was
Straight.
is it half a mile?
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
so cool.
Half a mile, and they're going like 600 miles an hour. I'm just like,
That was so cool, man. I was like,
nope.
Oh, I'd want to ride past during that. That'd be awesome.
I'd like to experience the G's.
Oh, yeah. That was so
Yeah.
fun.
That wreck with the bad guy where he's like, "You're going too fast."
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
pretty cool.
That was really good. He's like, what are you doing?
He was so angry. Threw his helmet down.
What I think is funny is that they had that quote from Dale Earnhardt. How do you say his name?
Earnhardt?
Yeah, like in the training thing. I'm like, maybe we shouldn't have that at the training camp. It's like that guy died in a fire explosion. So
I was upset with the. I think he was like the Spaniard racer in the
gee, I
camp,
wonder why.
and because he didn't finish his apple.
I
Who doesn't finish an apple?
He just eat like the half of it and he just chunks it. I was like, what the? He's a fully good half an apple there.
You can't finish an apple. What are you?
People don't eat more than 2 bites in movies.
Gamers don't eat apples.
It's true.
Oh, an apple.
He should have had like Funyuns.
Harbor was true. It's like, oh, the last thing you guys ran was for a hot pocket. I'm like, yeah, probably.
I loved his insults. He did a good job being like a harsh coach.
I would have loved a fat guy out there running. And then just,
Did you like how the American said "yeehaw" when he got the race?
oh, okay, so do you remember the girl driver from America? Whenever she had like
Oh.
she was racing, her face was always
Dude,
like
she was like a mom. She's all smiles, man.
Yeah.
creepy looking.
Put me in, coach.
I didn't really need a love story though in the.
That's fine.
That's true.
It's fine.
I feel
Also-
like she did a good job, though. Like,
Yeah.
you felt that she was in it. I was like, good for her.
I feel a little bad for Jan because he basically just paid for her vacation.
Yeah.
And like, this is their first date.
And that's how it works, man.
What,
That's
you're
how much
rich?
I spend nowadays.
Oh, that's true.
He's got the money. I did like the line where he was like, what are you going to spend with your money? He's like, oh, I don't know, get,
House?
get an apartment, whatever. He's like,
Yeah.
no, go get your girl and bring her
I
here.
will
Like,
admit, though,
enjoy it.
what he did in Tokyo is exactly what I wanted to do when I was going to Japan. Was go to those back alleys and just like explore.
Yeah.
Like that's what I want to do.
That was cool. I saw the random tangent.
Damn you, COVID.
There was a video I saw. I don't know if this is real or not. It was on Instagram, and it was like the Tokyo Bicycle Garage, and it had these like automatic doors that he put in as like an elevator. Took the bike and went down and stored it, and then would bring it back up.
Oh yeah.
Is it real?
Yeah.
Yeah, those are real.
It was wild looking. It was like it like had the video on the inside. I was like, this can't be real, right?
They do have some like weird CGI ones, but yeah,
That it must have been
but no, they do have like automatic bike storage there.
weird.
They're working on like automatic car storage too.
That's cool.
So if we go outside the movie, get a little meta. When I got in my car to leave the movie, guess what song came on?
Sail away.
Cardigans
Oh.
from Gran Turismo 2, and I was like, yes! Like, this is amazing.
I know we talked about it, but who else drove like a bat out of hell when they got out of the
I
theater?
did. I
It's like,
did.
I turned on the loop and I was like, whoa!
I have a 2004 Toyota Camry. There is no bat out of hell. It's like and
But you
accelerated.
could at least pretend.
I know, in
Thomas
Albuquerque,
is like,
that just turns on my blinker.
in Albuquerque, we have pretty good turns, so I was like,
I will admit that my handling is very nice in that Toyota Camry.
You can make those
There you
turns.
go.
I can make the turns.
you can be in Le Mans with that car.
Exactly. I have fuel efficiency. It gets 26 miles per gallon.
So there you go.
So also, I get to the movies, I get some popcorn, I take like the first bite, and something like just jammed right into my tooth,
God.
and it was like the whole movie. Like, finally got it out like near the end.
Oh my
It was
gosh.
terrible.
That's the whole movie. You're just like,
Yeah, I mean,
awful.
people were watching me. I was probably going,
I was expecting, because you know how they kept saying, "Oh, champagne for the podium."
Yeah.
I was expecting him to go, "Oh,
No wonder they don't want to actually drink this.
No wonder they put it off so long.
I do like that. Like Herb's like, we'll have beer.
Yeah. Put this away. Oh, okay. Did we cover everything?
Yeah.
So,
I think so.
the only thing I do want to shout out is the sound design because I feel like it was really good. Like,
Yeah.
like even though we were making fun of them, but I feel like everything just fit really well. Like the sound of the car.
Also,
Really good
something
sounding.
I'd be more nervous about driving the supercars is the steering wheel is only
Yeah,
Like,
they're very.
I'm like,
Yeah.
how do you even have like? Is it just because there's less movement involved? Is that how they do it?
I don't know.
No, because I would feel like wall.
The guy who made Gran Turismo is intense.
Yeah.
Was that actually him in the movie?
I don't
I
think
don't
so.
know.
All I can think about is Kojima's going like, son of a bitch. Why don't they make a movie about me?
I think that was an actor, but
Okay,
yeah.
that's good. That was a cool moment though. I got to meet him and be like, dude.
I'd always be afraid that I accidentally pull
Yeah,
off the wheel.
I know.
I don't know how it disconnects because that's what I was thinking. I was like, just
Oh, for the interface.
Yeah.
Okay.
going for a
Yeah,
turn.
that's an expensive. That's
Oh,
an
no.
expensive mistake.
Yeah.
Because he's like, I saved up for a month. I'm like, I wouldn't touch that like for a while. Like,
I think the moral of the story is never settle for soccer.
hell yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Screw you, FIFA.
Don't speed up going uphill.
Yeah.
It's the updraft. It was a freak accident.
So was he saying that he should have had a pit earlier so the weight of the fuel would have kept him down?
Maybe.
I think
maybe
that's what he was
yeah.
saying.
I think that's part of it, but I also think what they're talking about is that since that hill goes up, they weren't expecting the updraft.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And so it just hit him, and he was going the right speed at the right time, the right weight, just to completely
Whee!
tip him over. And he says it's a complete, like, one in a million
freak accident.
like accident.
It's
crazy.
funny how they drive Nissans the whole time, but during the like heart to heart movie, it's in a Porsche.
It's in a Porsche. I mentioned that.
Because Porsche is a little more sentimental.
Porsche's where the heart's at.
I was going to pull up in a Ford Mustang, like, ha ha ha, then break down.
Did you like how they got into the car where they when they throttle and they show the inside and stuff like that, like the mechanics of the
Oh,
car?
yeah.
going?
No, I like that.
Oh, I thought you meant how the guy got into the car.
No.
I was like,
He was too tall.
I did kind of freak out for a second. I mean, I like that they had like the deconstruction of like the car, but I did freak out for a second when he was driving and the car just went like that. I was like, did he blow up? I
I know, get it?
was like, oh god.
Dude, getting out of the Porsche looked like it sucked. Looked like Harbor was like, oh.
That's the thing about Porsches. They're not meant for guys that are
Yeah.
like big, and Harper's a large
Real
man.
big dude, yeah.
But yeah.
Okay, so sounds like it's going to do it for this time on That's Good Stuff. Like, subscribe, and notify yourself for even more good stuff to come, and we will see you next time.
Go notify yourself.
Sail away, sail away.